Hello and welcome to Two Peaches in a Pod. It's not Two Peaches and a Pod. It's Two Peaches.
That's why I was like, oh. What are you like? What are you supposed to do when you're co-hosting and like your co-host like has a blunder or a misstep? Like, what do you do? It's like
You
live
go,
TV.
actually, it's Two Peaches with a Pod. Stupid.
I would never.
On air. On national
On
TV. Yep.
That'd
Could you
be
imagine? Oh my God.
no. That's why I'm just like, what do you do? In
That
that
would be
case?
like really tragic.
Super tragic. It's tragedy
It would be funny though.
in real time. Yeah, in real time it would be hilarious. CaMi.
You friend.
All the things.
Yeah.
All the things. Yeah.
Your smile is very beautiful today. I mean, like, not that it's like not beautiful any other day, but like your smile just makes my heart smile. So
you know what? I'll tell you something. I got a new electric toothbrush, and this one instead of I'm like, is this adulting? Is this being excited about the delivery of my new electric toothbrush?
It is.
My old one only had 3 settings. This one has 5. It has whiten, it has polish, it has clean, it has sensitive, and I don't remember the other one. But today I use whiten. So
yeah, no, like seriously, your teeth are bright, shining bright like a diamond.
Shining bright like a diamond. It also could be the placement of the ring light. I did also move the ring light a little bit. Clean.
We're moving on up.
Yeah.
How electric toothbrush?
Well,
ring light? New ring light placement? I mean, a new electric toothbrush.
I mean, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. How is your day coming along? What's the haps?
What's the haps? What's the 411? Can I get you girls a drink? I'm going to make us a hump day treat. That movie is so dumb.
I'm over here like, what's that thing like secret diary or secret journal? What was that?
Burn book.
No, it was a toy. It was like pink. And it was like password something.
Oh, password journal.
Password journal. I always wanted one of those, and
I always wanted one of those too. Oh my gosh, memory unlocked.
I didn't know you said that. I was like, password journal.
Wow, those things were bulky.
They were bulky.
Could you imagine carrying one of those around today?
No, not at all. They were trying to also bring Trapper Keepers back. And I was like, that name sounds familiar. And I saw a picture of one and I was like, oh my goodness. It was like the carrying case for a binder. And I was like, oh, Trapper Keepers. Do you remember those?
Oh, I remember those. And then, so like, I used to, actually, I don't want to say that on the air, but the last place where I worked, I had to deal with a lot of Trapper Keeper-esque type binders.
Okay.
And I hated it.
Yikes. They didn't have like the cute Lisa Frank design.
No cute Lisa Frank designs, no stickers, no cute colors, nothing to like brighten up the day.
Mm-hmm.
It was very mundane.
And make you want to be there.
Okay. But to answer your original question, I'm okay. Things are good. Things are, things are things. It's snowing where I am. No. Snow is not exciting up here. It's not like, no. Like, it's been snowing since November. Like, I'm done with snow.
Why did I think you were going to say Monday?
It's been snowing since last Friday, actually.
Okay.
I mean, it started, like, a lot of it has been melting because we've had some warmer weather, which has been nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ready for spring. I do not want to deal with winter anymore because winter sucks. It's so cold. I'm just ready for like springtime and flowers, and then summer and warm weather and being by the water, that sort of thing. Like, that's where my mind is, even though, like, yes, we're still in February, but February is almost done.
February is done in my mind, and feel like when I was going through it, it was moving slowly. But now that I'm looking up, I'm like, oh, this kind of went by
Hmm.
fast for me. And I know it's the shortest month, but still.
Right. I think the problem is January, especially this January, felt so long.
Mm.
Um, it literally felt like 3 months to me. So that's why I think my mind is just like, oh, this is the fourth month of winter of this year. So let's get it done. Let it be over with.
Oh, let's get it done. Does your mind not transfer into, oh, well, I can still go by the water, but now I can ice skate. I can still deal with flowers, but now they're indoor plants. Does it not transition like that? No? All right.
No,
Okay.
not in -20-degree weather. I'm
Okay.
not ice skating outside in -20. There are people that go ice fishing. I'm like, y'all are crazy.
Ice
One of my
fishing.
coworkers showed me a video the other day,
Mhm.
that his wife recorded of him driving on the icy lake, and I was like, mm-mm, you would not catch me doing that, not
On
at
like a
all.
snowmobile?
No, in his car, like his regular car,
No. No.
driving on. I mean, like the lake is frozen solid,
No, but still.
and
I've
it's
seen
like
too many movies. No.
I also have seen too many movies
No.
for me to wanna, like, consider doing that, so
Ain't no way.
it was a no from me, dog. Good
It's a
for
no for me,
him,
dog.
but no from me.
And then also, okay, let's say even still it's frozen solid and he doesn't like fall through. What if you don't have the traction to get back to where it's not as icy?
No, so the thing is, I'm not sure if it was actually his car, because I think you drive out to the lake, and
Mhm.
there are, like, cones set up, so, like, you it's a driven path
Mhm.
that it's like a course that they make up for you to drive
Okay.
through. But like the way he was drifting and sliding and everything, I was like, all right, too fast, too furious. This is
Mm-mm.
not this is not what God has intended for me in my life. So good for you, but I will never, ever in my life do that.
Yeah, that's just not my Steve.
Yeah.
Cammy,
What's up? I'm
what do you want
like
to say?
so nervous. Like, what's up?
I mean, what you mean? There's no reason to be nervous. Why would you be nervous?
I don't know. I'm not nervous. I'm just like, okay, what does Coco have for me today?
Actually, I would like for you to tell me what you have for me today. I would like to
Okay,
receive from you first.
okay. So, did you hear about the new area code that's coming to the ATL, to Hotlanta, as outsiders like to say?
Unfortunately, yes, I was made aware. Verizon decided to send me a message saying, hey, guess what's happening? Guess what's going on that you don't want to happen? It's happening. And I was like, ugh.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
yeah, yeah.
Now, so it's really funny to me because, like, when I think of Atlanta area codes, I think of 770, 404. Like, those are the OGs. Those are the original area codes. Those are area codes that I memorized back in the day when people memorized numbers in case of emergencies. um, when those numbers were on your identikid cards. Do you remember those?
Yes, I had a third grade one. Yes, I did.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
did.
I have one from like first grade. I think it's in a box somewhere.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
cute.
it's so
Oh, it's very cute.
embarrassing. But I remember when I don't remember like what year this like happened, but I remember when 678 joined the chat and everybody was like, ew, 678. And
Ghastly.
I got a 678 number. So mortified. I was like, I guess I'm uncool now.
Yeah, I do remember that being a thing. I remember that being a point of contention and like a type of
Yeah.
situation.
No, seriously. It was like wearing like Walmart brand shoes.
I'm not going to deny it. That's a good comparison. It's like you go to Walmart, you get the Shacks because that's what your parents can afford or will allow
Can't
you to get.
afford.
And you think you're
678 was the
rocking
Walmart brand
the
shoes.
Shacks. Yeah, that really sucks. My first, I want to say, number in high school was like a 770 number, and I didn't have really a consistent number throughout college. And I got one, and it was again 770, and I was like, ooh, regal, longevity, generational, yes.
I've actually had
And
the
404.
same, like, well, like home phone numbers have changed. I still
Yes,
remember my first home phone number,
me
like
too.
can recite it. I remember my friends' home phone numbers because we used to call each other like on three-way. And
Mm-hmm.
if you were really fun, you had like weird 12-way phone calls where like everybody had an assigned person to call.
Yep. Yep. It's like telephone on the telephone.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those are the days.
Those were
What
the
a time.
days to be alive.
But yeah, so like who makes up the area codes? Like who decides like one day, all right, we're gonna issue a new area code?
That's a good question. I would assume that it's the phone carriers and companies, but also since we have all these digital platforms or like Google Voice, VoIP, and stuff like that, I don't know if they buy in bulk, like, you know what I mean? Spend millions of dollars and decide to
Mm.
hold on until they're ready to issue it for a specific city or what. But that's a good question. I am curious about that too.
I also wonder because like I listen to a lot of true crime and I feel like cell phone towers um always pop up every now and then. So I'm like, how does this play into like cell phone towers? Do they create new ones? Does this like help with pinpointing where a person was at a certain time on a certain day? Like, what's gonna happen?
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna
I
happen.
have a lot of other questions too, but like I don't want to spend too much time on area codes. I just thought it was like really funny how like everybody was like, "There's a new area code.
Okay.
Take cover."
I feel like that point of crisis was overshadowed by this song that was released. Have you heard it? There's an Atlanta rapper. Her name is Amaretta. I believe that's what's how you pronounce her name. And she basically in her song she was discussing like, oh, if you're from this part, that's not Atlanta. This part, that's not Atlanta. Have you heard of that, or have you
I
heard the
have
song or
not.
anything?
I have not heard of her. I've not heard of the song. So
It's
you had to fill me in on what the T is.
it's been really, really bad out here. So she was like, Decatur is not Atlanta, Forest Parker is not Atlanta, Clayco is not Atlanta, da da da. Like, listen to all these places that, you say, oh, I'm from Atlanta. And I'm thinking,
Okay, but that's technically true though.
it depends because you have Atlanta, you have the city of Atlanta, then you have the greater metro Atlanta, and then you have
Mm-hmm.
the cities that don't matter. So it really depends. But it's also like people are getting in a tizzy about it, and I'm just like,
What
not
do
to
you
be
mean
like
in a tizzy? Like for real,
getting
for
in a
real?
tizzy, like, how are you gonna tell me where I'm from or what I can rep and all sorts of good stuff? And I'm like, yeah, why are y'all listening to this young rap? She this is gonna sound very ageist, but someone born in 1996 isn't gonna tell me what city I'm from. Isn't gonna draw the county lines and make me reevaluate what I've been doing for 30 plus years. That's just not gonna happen.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, so it's been really a really, really, really big debate going on. I'm surprised you haven't heard it yet, but I mean, there are other issues going on, so
Oof, are
that
there other issues?
definitely could have overshadowed it.
It's really what's got me down. Like, I mean, like that's part of the reason why I'm just like,
Yeah, okay,
mm.
me too. And I didn't want, like, I wanted to come on here and I wanted to, be our jovial projective selves, and I'm just like, I'm trying, but
Like this week has been like a hard day at work, a hard week for news. Life is just really hard right now.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, you know what? I really want to take a melatonin bath and just sleep. I also haven't been sleeping.
That's wild.
Yeah, let me hang on. I'm gonna check my sleep stats.
You
Cause
have a sleep stats app?
well, I have a Fitbit and
Okay.
it measures my sleep.
Okay.
So my sleep score was 68. And
Out
apparently
of,
that's 100, I guess.
can you also tell us like what that measures into it? What factors
Yeah.
into it?
So, this is like so embarrassing. But
Is
like
it?
sometimes yeah, because I am not the best sleeper and I'm trying to really work on my routines for getting into better sleeping habits, better nighttime routines, better morning routines, because I think that's going to help with like overall health. And I know that my
Hmm.
sleep has just been a detrimental part of my health for a really, really long time.
Okay.
So from 9:33 p.m. to 12:35 a.m., I
Okay.
was asleep. I fell asleep on the couch. At
Okay.
12:35, approximately 12:35 a.m., that is when I woke up from the couch. Now, I did take off my Fitbit because I wanted to shower. So I showered, did my like lotion routine, skincare routine. Life of an insomniac. Um Then I went back to sleep. Now, this is where it gets kind of confusing. Oh, this is getting the Tuesday into Wednesday too, because there's a 3:19 a.m. to 6:47 a.m. block, then the 9:33 to 12:35 block, then the 2:35 to 6. Oh, today's not Wednesday.
No, and you said that earlier, and I was like, I don't know if she just meant to say that or what. So, see, just like the newscaster incident, like, do I say something?
No, no,
Do
no.
I just
Okay,
let
so
it
the
ride?
9:33 to 12:35, that was technically to like last night into this morning,
Into
like
okay,
into the wee hours of the morning. So
gotcha.
then at 2:35 a.m., that's when I went back to sleep and then woke up at 6:58 a.m. Now, if I click on the 2:35 a.m. to 6:58 a.m. block, 45 minutes of that sleep was REM sleep. 2 hours
Okay.
and 3 minutes of that sleep was light sleep, and 1 hour and 10 minutes of that sleep was deep sleep. So that's not really great.
So this is just monitoring your heart rate and heart levels mainly to determine your sleep status.
Yes.
Hmm. Do you feel like it's accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's pretty accurate because, like, I know myself when I'm not monitoring it and I'm pretty restless. And it
Okay.
takes a while for me to fall asleep. And then when I wake up in the middle of the night, it takes me a while to go back to sleep. So I believe that I'm not in deep sleep for very long.
Okay. Do they give you also like solutions or ways to improve after they've given
No.
your? Oh, okay. It's just like here are your problems.
I'm actually trying. So I bought this book called The Sleep Revolution, and it's by Ariana Huffington of the Huffington Post.
Post. Hmm.
And I bought this book like 5 years ago to read, and then like I never read it. But I'm
It
like, okay, you
happens.
know what? I'm gonna buckle down on my sleep.
Okay,
So
determination.
this woman basically wrote this book because like she wasn't sleeping. She was devoting all of her time to like working all the time and just like sleeping like an hour here, like 3 hours at night. And
Hmm.
then one day at work, she was so like delirious, she passed out and she like fell and like broke her cheekbone or something like that. And when she came
Oh,
to, she was like in a pool of her own blood. And
oh
I was
my
like,
goodness.
you know what? Because like one of the things that she mentioned, and I had read articles about this a while ago,
Hmm.
was that sleep, like driving while you're tired, is a deadly like
Yeah,
factor, like driving while drunk or driving
for
under the
sure.
influence. And like my mom is always telling me all the time, like especially when we take road trips, she's like, "If you're tired, please just pull
Pull
over." And
over.
I'm like,
Yep.
"Yeah."
Yep.
So I never drive when I'm tired. Uh, if I'm tired, like I'm not going anywhere
Yeah.
because I'm not trying to get killed in the streets on the
Right.
road or
Yeah.
endanger other people on the road. That's irresponsible. And I'd like to think that I'm a very or a mostly responsible person.
I'd like to think so too. I've definitely pulled over once I felt myself like getting tired, but a lot of times I'll push through it. But if I feel myself doing the dozing thing, or if I feel like I blink and I'm like, that blink was like 5 seconds, skirt, I'm
hmm
pulling over. I'm gonna take my little power nap because, yeah, but I try to make sure, it's a well lit area or even like a
Yeah.
QT, a place that's kind of like 24/7 with cameras, something like
hmm
that if I can. But yeah, definitely I have been there. But I don't get into the car tired. But if it's happening while I'm traveling, then yeah, I got to pull over.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the 411 on my sleep cycle. I
Do
don't know
you
how we
feel
got
like,
here.
well, it's a good transition. Do you feel like your lack of sleep is what's causing some of like the work week burnout or where you don't have as much energy? Or is it because you have projects and you're juggling life and adulthood and news and just trying to like balance it or maybe not even in a place to balance it right now?
I think it's all cyclical. So like um I've been pretty burnt out from work for a
Hmm.
while, but like things have started to like get better as far as the burnout.
Oh, good.
But then like life happens and then the news happens and then it
Hmm.
all just kind of like circles back. And like today was a really, really extreme, this week has been extremely hard at work.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, oof, I'm starting to get burnt out in all areas of my life and I need a vacation. And
I love,
I feel like everybody's on vacation right now. And they're like, yeah, I'm enjoying the sun. I'm soaking up the sun. And I'm in Tulum and I'm going to Bali and I'm at the beach. And I'm like, on a break. So that I think that's also like fueling some of the like exhaustion as well.
do you have a trip that you're looking forward to? Or are you in progress, like for planning a trip right now? If you want to discuss it, we don't have to discuss it here.
If you're listening or watching and you know who you are we in the middle of planning a trip? TBD.
I feel like I know who we're talking about. So I hope that you all are in the middle of planning a trip.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey!
Yeah.
But we do have there's like a block of weddings that we're going to in the middle of spring and summer.
Okay.
So that's going to be interesting. And we
Yeah.
need to start making accommodations for those.
I have a
Uh,
question.
mm-hmm.
Do you feel like since COVID is kind of like on the decline, like now everyone's like, let's make sure we book this for this year? Or were these things that were already planned out like a while ago?
So, um, let's see. Two of these weddings are new weddings. One of these weddings, this was a wedding that we were supposed to go to May of 2020, and this is the third time or the
Whoa.
third replan.
Whoa.
Um, we went to a wedding last summer that was also a third replan of trying to like gather all the pieces and figure out like what to do during COVID.
Right.
I don't know how all the COVID brides are doing it, to be
Not the
honest.
COVID brides.
I mean, like COVID brides, COVID babies, like it's an adjective now because it's
Yeah.
true. It's a what planning a wedding is already stressful.
Right.
I never want to plan a wedding ever again in my entire life. I low key never want to be in a wedding ever again. I mean, like if it someone like bestie level, like don't need to be
Okay.
there.
So I say
But
you
like
better.
being in a wedding is also a lot,
It
depending on
is.
like depending on who the bride is. Like I feel like I try to be a very low key bride. I I don't think I was like ever like bridezilla. If anything,
Zilla.
there was like a point in the planning of everything that I was just like, yeah, if you want to do it, that's fine. Go for it. I don't care.
Was it that you didn't care? Or did you just give up because it felt like everyone else was like taking the lead, or you were just like, you know what? I'm just here to marry my person. Like, I don't care.
I mean, there was just like so much happening that I made a rule for myself that as long as my dress fits, the photos come out great, I get to marry my person, and I eat macaroni and cheese, then it's going to be a good weekend. And I got to do all those things. So it was a good weekend. Did things go awry? Absolutely.
You think so? I'm kidding. You would know.
I
I'm joking.
know
Do
so.
I think so? Do I think so?
I'm still like not over some of the things that happened, but like that's a different
Wait,
story
how long?
for a different
What?
day.
How long have you been married at this point?
It'll be 4 years this year. It feels like longer, but I think that's just
Well,
because
obviously, you guys have been together since you were like 2 years old. So,
I know it's
of course, it's going to feel
disgusting.
like longer.
It's actually like really gross. It's like, all right, we get it.
Not already.
You're
Good.
together. No, for real. That's how I feel sometimes. I'm so
I,
serious. Like, I'll look at him and
I don't have anything to say.
I'll be
I don't
like,
have.
I get it. You're married. Leave me alone. I say that to him. He looked at me and he's like, what? What did you say? He's stupid. If you're watching and if you're listening,
It was
you're
said with love.
stupid.
Oh, whoa. That was still said with love. Hey, yo.
No. Hey, yo!
I saw a post that my friend sent me, and it was talking about marriage. It was on the TikTok. And there was this lady, she was a commentator, and she has a lot of followers for like saying inflammatory things, not offensive inflammatory, just like things that go viral, those kinds of things. So someone asked her a question. She was like, would you ever get married again? She was like, absolutely not. She was like, the way y'all talk about marriage is basically a slavery contract. And so then, yeah. And so then you go into the comments because that's where, the juicy stuff is.
That's where the
And
juicy stuff is.
people are like sounding off, but a lot of them are making a lot of sense. But some of them I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. There's this one lady, she was like, I am happily married to my person and I would never do it again. And I was just like, if you're happily married to your person, why are you saying you would never get married again? Like stuff wasn't adding up to me. And this one lady was also, or it could have been, I'm actually not sure about their affiliated gender. But anyway, this other person was like, yeah, I was married for like 22 years. I'm widow now. I'll never get married again. But I really enjoyed it, but I don't need marriage. Marriage isn't just about love. It's also a business, a partnership, all this other good stuff. And so I don't know how to ask you because you are married.
No,
but,
just ask me.
but I'm just wondering, like, is there ever an alternate version for you, or do you talk to other people who have an alternate version where it's like you could just be lifelong partners, or why do you specifically want to get them married, like that specific step?
Yeah, I thought I would never get married.
What? Lies and fabrications. Why are you doing
No.
this?
I was a person that thought I would never get married. I'm a child of divorce, and my parents' divorce was not a great one.
Amicable?
Mm-hmm. No, it was not amicable at all. And as someone that wants a family, like wants to expand the family, I just would always think about like, would I want to put my kids through that kind of, I don't want to call it trauma, but like a traumatic event like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the answer is no. So like, obviously, if you aren't in a relationship with someone and you don't like get into those legal ties, like you can't set yourself up for that.
Right.
But then came my husband and I got hit with a ton of bricks and I wasn't expecting it. And we created this life together and here we are. Now, with all that said, I put a lot of time and effort and relationship building into this relationship. I mean, we both did.
Both have. Mm-hmm.
To do it all over again, and I put in time. To do it all over again is exhausting to me. I'm I already am at a place, or like as I'm getting older, I'm getting to a place where like I only want very few people in my space. I
Hmm.
don't even like making new friends sometimes because it gets to be a lot. They want to hang out all the time, they want to do things together, and all I want to do is say, "Hey, you look cute. Maybe let's get some dinner," but I also don't like getting dinner with people. Um, and then I'll see you in 4 months.
Okay.
People are just really annoying and they tire me. So just to like romantically, financially, uh physically get involved with someone else, it feels like a lot.
Taxing. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely taxing, and there's a lot of energy that goes into, I would say, what even people consider to be normal everyday interactions. Because it's like if I'm not up for it, or if I'm not feeling this right now, or if it's like, let's say we're here at the basic, hey, how you doing? Everything's all good, but then stuff is dumped onto that, whether it's like a negative interaction or a bad situation, or picking and
Mhm.
choosing. It's just like if I could avoid that altogether, then
Yeah.
that's the path
But
I'll probably
like,
take.
and I'm also like very cynical because I just I mean, I've been cynical for a while, but like it just like increases as I get older. I'm very like not trusting of people. Like, what are your intentions? Are you
What
gonna
do you
like
have to feel like you shouldn't trust people about? That's wild.
I could give you a long list of lifelong people that have entered into my life, betrayed my trust, and have originated some like feelings in me. So
I'm here with you. You know me. I'm playing around. I'm here with you. I understand that
mhm.
sentiment.
To elaborate for the peeps.
I mean, you can.
For
I was introducing it in a comical way, but I don't want you to feel pressured to have to elaborate in a personal way. So that's why.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Damn. Oh, that was good. That was good timing. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Every episode. Every single episode. Until the finale. For those listening, you missed the traditional, and I'm gonna ride that like a rodeo. If you're listening, perfect, perfect. Mhm. Have you seen any good TV lately?
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, you haven't shared with me, so
Okay, so this is what I'm watching on TV right now. I'm watching there's this new show called Grand Crew and it's got Nicole
oh
Byer in
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah.
It is one of my favorite shows. I mean,
Mm.
okay, so Insecure went off the air,
Yep,
left a big old insecure heart hole in my heart.
yep.
I have nothing to do on self care Sundays. I mean, not
Hmm.
that Grand Crew comes on Sundays, but it is a very like comical show,
Hmm.
and I need something like I can't do anything heavy right now. Like I want to get into Euphoria, but like I really cannot get into
Yeah, that's gonna
Euphoria
be
right
heavy
now.
for sure.
So like that show has just been lifting my spirits and keeping a smile on my face. I've also been watching Abbott Elementary. That
Hmm.
show is genius. Quinta is really doing her thing. It's just so cool. I mean, and like this could be said for like Issa too. Like watching someone that you've like seen what they've put on the internet for years and years and years, and then they
Hmm.
make it big. Like they've
Yeah,
got prime time spots on TV, and I'm like,
yeah,
wild. And there was this interview that she did with Jimmy Kimmel,
yeah.
and her elementary school teacher that she named the show after came on the show, and she was
Yeah.
like, such a heartwarming moment. And
Yeah.
it's just like nice to see like how much of an impact that teacher like made on her.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to an interview that she did on NPR's Fresh Air,
Mm-hmm.
and she had mentioned that Miss Abbott was the first teacher that made her feel safe, because up until then she had just, her mom's a teacher and she
Mm-hmm.
had always been in her mom's class, and Miss Abbott was the first teacher that she had like away from her mom and in the
Oh,
in the at that time the real world.
okay.
So it's like, wow, like that's impactful on another level too,
Mm-hmm.
because like when you think about it, if your mom's a teacher and you're in her class all the time, you're always going to have that comfort. I mean,
Right.
depending on the relationship with your mom, but like for her it always just seemed like a comfort for her, and to like not be in that state of comfort and to still have it in someone else. I think that's kind of cool.
I do wonder about, because I did go to school with someone who their mom was a teacher. And their mom literally like every year went to a different, like the grade they were going to is is the teaching level she went and taught. So she had her mom's class like every single year.
Oh
And I did
wow.
wonder, I was like, I don't know if that would be more comforting or more of a coddling situation. You know what I'm saying? Like you always have someone there that you can rely on, who you essentially can trust. So I just don't know if that would hinder growth in any way. But I always thought it was cool, like, oh, your parents work here. That's cool. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, I thought it was
Hmm.
cool. But if it was my parents, I would have been like, I don't know you. Don't talk to me. I don't want that to know we're related. That's how it would have been.
I think in elementary school I would have been totally fine with it. Middle school, absolutely not. Middle school was a disaster. I hated middle school. Middle school was the worst time of my life.
The
In high
worst.
school, I think I would have been okay if I had a parent at my high school, because I don't think like we would have actually had any classes together. Maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them at any level, pre-K through 12. I just wouldn't want that situation. And also it's like if school is where I'm starting to gain some independence or get into a little bit of trouble, or find myself like I don't need you watching my matriculation or stopping
Hmm.
me from doing things that would have been a learning experience, that kind of thing.
I think my mom was just like secretly like in my school at all times anyway, so like that's why I think I'm okay with it. Like she had like if she didn't have her own eyes, she had eyes set up for her. So it's
Hmm.
like, okay, well, I'm being watched, so it's fine.
I don't know how I feel about that.
The other shows that I'm watching, there's a show called Dollface on Hulu, and season one starts off with this girl getting reconnected with her group of friends after a breakup. And then season two is exploring the growth of those relationships,
Hmm.
and how they're like being there for each other, and explore some different like themes and storylines. But it has Kat Dennings in it,
Hmm.
and Brenda Song, who was London Tipton, Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior.
Hmm.
I don't know if she's married to Kevin, aka Macaulay Culkin, um, but they just had a baby together. But it's got her in it, and Shay Mitchell, and Esther. Don't know how to pronounce her last name, but the cast is great. The magical realism is great because they play a lot with that. These what was the description that he called it? Pocket realities, like these like dream sequences,
Oh,
basically.
okay. This
It's
is the show where
basically
it's like
like,
a cat persona like pops up sometimes, right? Like a 3D cat.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a really well done show. So if you haven't
Okay.
watched it, I would put
I
that on
ha-
your list.
I haven't watched it, but I have noticed an influx in shows that, circle around friendships and those different kinds of interactions, and they're not just like
Mm-hmm.
bubble gummy or cat fighty. So I do appreciate that we're delving into the many different, facets of people's personalities and what that looks like when you're trying to mesh together. Like I really,
Yeah.
really appreciate that. Speaking of Brenda's song, I just want to say that relationship really confused me because she was with Miley Cyrus's brother for so long. So I just knew that they were going to get married. I was just like, I just know she's going to become a Cyrus one day. And so then when I found out she was with Macaulay Culkin and pregnant, I was like, this wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't part of the plan.
Plans change.
Plans do change. That's true. But it just threw me off.
Mm.
And then also I was like, Macaulay Culkin was supposed to be with Mila Kunis. Ashton Kutcher was supposed to be. It just started like this backwards domino effect of
Wait. They were together?
Macaulay Culkin and Mila Kunis were also a thing, yes, for a while. Yes, for a while.
Celebrity relationships really weird me out.
It's just like they use the same circle. It's like first you get into the Hollywood circle, and then it's like you can only date people in the Hollywood circle.
Yeah. One celebrity relationship that always just like it's not laughable. It's just like it's cute and it makes me giggle because like I saw him in Spy Kids when I was a kid. Is Meghan Trainor and the guy from Spy Kids. Like, how'd they get together?
Yep.
Like, I want to like, how did they get together? Also, I don't know if you ever watched Degrassi, but the girl that played Paige, she's married to the guy in Mean Girls that goes, "Mom, can you pick me up? I'm scared." That just makes
me. That is such an interesting pairing.
It just feels so random to me, but they're cute.
Very random. I can imagine them being cute. That is very, very random pairing. I actually watched Mean Girls the other day, and I can't remember where. Oh, I remember where. Because I was like, when would I be watching Mean Girls? So it was funny that you said that because I literally just saw it last Friday. Yeah. What about any animated shows? Are there any animated shows you've been watching or hearing about?
Okay, so the Proud Family just released the Proud Family reboot, Louder and Prouder.
Yeah.
Just released on Disney Plus. I have not watched it yet because, like I said, this week.
How do you feel about it? How do you feel about reboot season? How do you feel about them changing the theme song? Like, how do you feel about any of it?
They changed the theme song?
So, let me lean in a little closer. So the lyrics are still pretty similar, but it is not Solange, I don't believe, who's singing it, and the melody and the variation is a little different. So yeah, it's not the same theme song.
It's like a variation of the theme song.
Yeah, it's pretty similar, but it's definitely different. It's not Solange and Destiny's Child.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I can expect that. A lot of the reboots aren't going to have the same theme song, or they're going to have, like, for instance, the How I Met Your Father spinoff. I don't know if it's a spinoff or a reboot.
Bootleg Lizzie McGuire show that we didn't get.
It's bootleg Lizzie McGuire. That's how I'm treating it. I still want that show. Anyway, they have a different band or singer doing the theme song. Why can't I speak and think right now? They have a different singer doing the theme song, and it's just like it's like lighter and fun, but like still similar, but it's like a different vibe.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to listen to this Proud Family theme song though.
Yeah, people were talking about like trying to petition and boycott it, like they did with the Power intro, and how they got it back when they did it with the Power intro. And I'm like, I don't think it's that.
It is not that serious,
right? It's not like it's a bad song. People were just probably expecting to, hear what they wanted to hear and didn't. I do have an issue with when there's a reboot and it's not like the people are older. That bothers me because like I want to see them in an older state, a more mature state. And I also haven't yet to see Louder and Prouder, but from what I've seen, I'm like the babies are still babies. Penny is still small and young. Like no one seems like, I want to know where they are past the last time we saw them. So
kind of like Arthur.
Okay, we got to talk about that too. I watched that episode today, actually, for research purposes, of course. For research purposes, of course. I watched that episode today, and it was hard. I was like, I don't remember the show being this boring. There's some other themes going on. I was like, all right, but I was trying to like skip forward to be like, okay, when does them being older start? And I was like, oh, this is literally just the last minute of the episode. So I was like, let me watch the whole thing in its entirety. Synopsis, or wait, do you want a synopsis, or are you going to watch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Synopsis.
They go into the library, they discover this old game, and you enter in your information, and the game basically tells you what your career trajectory is going to be. Everyone hears what they're going to be. No one really cares for it, except for Buster. He likes his. And Arthur, before he can get told what he's going to do, the game shuts down. So it's like, ooh. So they move on and stuff like that. And then it flashes forward. It's 20-year jump. 20-year time jump. We never get a 20-year time jump. We get a 20-year time jump. Francine's a businesswoman who works at a sneaker company.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
She has a very like particular haircut. And I was like, go off, Francine.
Muffy is helping the mayor campaign. So she's a what do you call it? A public servant. Buster's a teacher. And Arthur
Which really confused me. Because like Buster being the teacher, wouldn't Brain be the teacher?
Brain was a newscaster.
No, that was Binky.
I'm sorry, Binky was a newscaster.
Where was Brain? Like George running the Sugar Bowl like made sense to me. Where was Fern?
Brain was over there producing, because remember he had like 12 kids in the classroom, so Brain was over there producing children. You didn't see all those brains in Buster's classroom? It was like 12 brains in his classroom.
I only saw the part where they were at the Sugar Bowl.
Oh, well, you missed like 3 seconds.
Wow, okay.
Brains over there farming children.
Where's Sue Ellen? Where's Priscilla?
Maybe they moved away. That was
I have questions.
Another thing, people were upset about DW being a cop, but I was like, I could see DW, Dora Winifred Reed being a cop. I can 110% see that.
I can see her like not being a cop, but like being a spy, being like an insider trader, being
I mean, when I think cops, I think of people that get away with stuff or are allowed to get away with stuff while calling out other people. And that completely reminds me of DW.
I feel like she could be a prosecutor.
I mean,
like that's what I was expecting. I was expecting prosecutor, corporate lawyer, something.
No, I saw cop, especially with that scene where she was like, "Oh," and the guy took his helmet off. She's like, "Oh, hey, I know who you are. I'm gonna still have to give you a ticket, though." I was just like, "She's like, we should go get some coffee." I was like, "Yeah, that's DW."
I know, I've been not arguing, but just like debating with people about it. I'm like,
and that's fine. That's your opinion. That's totally fine.
Right. It just, I don't know. It just I feel like they did DW wrong. They should not have made
really.
Yeah.
I feel like it suits her.
But like we're going off of a tattletale that's like what, 4? People grow up. Like at 24, you're still a tattletale. Really?
But I wouldn't see it as a
tattletale. And that trajectory from when you're 4 years old. Like I wanted to be a pediatrician when I was 4. I wanted to be a ballerina when I was 4. I wanted to be a lot of things when I was 4. Trajectories change. I just don't think she would have been on that path.
And that's your right to think as such. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Anyway, Buster's a teacher. DW is a cop. What happened to Arthur?
Arthur becomes an artist, and his first book is literally Arthur. So that's the full circle moment for him. So thank you, Mark Brown. Thank you, PBS Kids.
What a show. I remember when Arthur first aired when I was in 3rd grade. That was a fun time. I was like, oh my God, Arthur's a TV show?
There were
Awesome.
so many shows that I loved back in the day that were on PBS. But Arthur, definitely, in the Arthur books, I think I mentioned this before. Like, I loved checking out Arthur books. Like, it was just fun for me.
I used to check out Arthur books, the Mary Poppins chapter books, and the Berenstain Bears, and Amelia Bedelia, Junie B. Jones. What a time.
Classics, right?
Absolute classics. American Girl series. Okay, let me stop.
That's the dolls?
Yeah.
They had books?
You didn't. They had books.
Hold on. I think, do I know this? Let me get on the Googler. This sounds a little familiar.
Felicity, Addie, Josefina, Samantha, Molly. They all had books. It wasn't just about the dolls. Like, I had the books.
Club, but not the books. Oh, I see the books. No, I never read these. I see the books now, but I never read these. Interesting. I know they had dolls. Wow. I didn't know it was a whole book series.
Wow.
But I guess they franchised out. But then again, like, people have different tastes in what they
I think, like, each girl had 5 different books. It was like, me, Addie, happy birthday, Addie. Wow.
I mean, people have different tastes in what they like to read. Some people like to read good stuff, and some people like to read things that, just pass the time. And so I was at that point in time, I was into reading good books, so I wasn't just trying to pass the time. But I could see if.
Let's move on before more shots get fired.
I'm joking. So what happens? You would buy a doll, and then they would give you I know, I was trying to do it earlier, but you kept talking. I was like, I gotta get this joke out, because, like, I don't think I'm gonna be joking for the rest of this episode. I just gotta get it out. I gotta find an opening and get it out. So what will happen? Would the books come with, like, the doll, or is this, like, 2 separate purchases?
I never had the doll. I only had the books. And I would get them at Scholastic book fairs.
You had enough money to buy an actual book at Scholastic book fair?
My mom bought the book! Or you would rent it or borrow it from the library.
You rented books from the library? That's wild. They charged you? You rented books from the library?
Well, I said borrowed. I corrected myself.
You did.
I wanted to ask you something.
No.
Because, like, last week we talked, you were asking me about affirmations and writing things down and, like, what I believed in. And I kind of wanted to talk to you about, like, how do you, like, expand, like, past, like, affirmations? Like, what are, like, are mantras also part of that? Like, do you repeat things? Do you say things out loud? Like, what's the difference between an affirmation and a mantra to you? And, like, how do you apply that to, like, everyday living? And is this a recent thing, or have you always, like, practiced this?
So when I was in California, and this was a year after I got there, so it had to be maybe 6-7 years ago. The company I was working for at the time literally had a trained, hired yogi/Buddhist who would come in, and if you've been with the company long enough, then they pay the fee, and it was something ridiculous. It was like $2,000 and something dollars. Well, let me not say ridiculous, because I can't put a price on, what someone charges for their business, their experience, and everything like that. They literally had a dedicated room where you would sit down, he would get to know you, you would give him your information, stuff like that, and he would assign you a mantra, and it was like sound related, and I'm not trying to get too creepy or too deep into it, but the one that he assigned to me, and he didn't know anything really. He just knew like my birthday, and I want to say I gave him my first name, and that was it. And my mantra literally ended up sounding like my middle name. So it was really, really weird, just that sound and repetition and stuff like that. So when I think back that far and that whole process, and how, like, he would come 30 minutes a day after you were involved in the program, like, it was very, very thorough and very, very serious. And you were expected to actually, be interactive and practice it. But after I left that company, I was not, active with it. I was not also around other people who were practicing those kinds of things. So, in regards to mantras, to me, that's like a lifelong thing that has to be taught. If I'm being like serious, has to be taught from someone who has the knowledge. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Who has been through the
mm.
study. He had like 40 years of experience, and the person who taught him trained under um, like I think it was like 3 levels of like the first yogi, like it was just like a crazy
Wow.
lineage of information type of thing. So when I think of mantras, I feel
Hmm.
like that one's more detailed and it takes more work, and that's just me personally. Whereas when I think of affirmations, to me, affirmations are things that like can motivate you. Whereas whether it's through the day, if it's something you need to pick me up, if it's something that you just need to like kind of remind yourself of. So, like one of the newer affirmations I wrote down earlier this week, I was like, you know what? The week has been very wonky, as you know, and I need to refocus some of this.
As I know.
And I need to refocus some of this energy. So I honestly went online looking for, a mantra. Like I was specifically looking for it, and it within, I kid you not, within seconds it came across my feed, and I was like, oh wow, like I didn't ask for it for long, and here it is. So this is
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this is something I need to put into practice. I need to put into rotation. So what I did
Hmm.
specifically for this latest one was I have a morning one. I put it by my coffee machine. I have an afternoon one. It's by my desk because that's where I be, where I'll be. And then I have an evening one. I don't know why I came out that way. I have an evening one that's on my mirror because every night I'm definitely going to brush my teeth. So
Hmm.
just making sure it's in a place, so when I see it, like I'm saying it, and um, the more I say it, the more I feel like I can kind of focus on it, focus on working on it, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, and just keeping it in rotation and keeping it active. So that's
Hmm.
for me the difference between a mantra, which is like assigned to you and lifelong, and affirmations, which can be anything. Whether it's you're telling yourself you're gorgeous, you're telling yourself you're smart, you're telling yourself, I want positive energy around me. You're telling yourself, I will only keep positive energy around me. Like whatever you want that to be is what you want it to be. So was that long?
So, no, I think that was beautiful. I mean, I learned something new.
Okay.
Now, like, what would you say to somebody that would be antagonizing and say, well, an affirmation is just a fake it until you make it? Would
Uh-huh.
you agree with that? Do you, like, how do you differentiate, or how do you change up that language, change up that mindset?
A fake it till you make it. Um, I would change that to be like it's something you believe until it's true, instead of fake it till you make it. It's you believe it until it's true, until it becomes your truth. So I wouldn't say that as
Mm,
faking. I would say it as feelings wise. It's like you have to do this. You have to believe in it for yourself, for this to become accurate, for this to become your life and what you want. And then scientifically, when we
mm-hmm,
talk about, you're more likely to do 50% you're 50% more likely to do the things that you write down. That's a mental thing. So there's science behind it
mm-hmm.
and there's feelings behind it. But I know I am aware of a lot of people who are like, mantras aren't real, affirmations aren't real. If you're going to do something, you're just going to do it. If you're not going to do it, you're just not going to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, that's kind of like a defeatist or nonchalant attitude. And it's like you can stay nonchalant, you can stay neutral, and you'll stay right where you are. You know what I mean? But if you're
Mm-hmm.
feeding yourself positive energy and feeding other people positive energy, just like if you're feeding other people negative energy and only accepting negative energy, then clearly you can't just stay in a neutral space. But
Right.
I'm not like an expert at any of this. I just know.
No, but you still like have some experience with it. And
Right.
I mean, I'm always curious about like what people are doing, like how, like, what are you doing for yourself? What are you
Mhm.
doing to maintain balance for yourself? What are you doing to keep yourself like healthy, not just physically, but mentally,
Right.
emotionally?
Right.
Like, how are you getting through the days? Because we're living in, I mean, we've been living in really hard times for a while, and they just keep getting harder.
Right.
And it's really taxing on the mind. It's very taxing on the body.
Mhm.
It's taxing on the soul. It's taxing. It's coming at us in so many different directions and affecting everybody in different ways. So,
Mhm.
I mean, to have like to be equipped with all of these tools, I think it's
Mhm.
important. How
Very
people
important.
utilize them is up to each person because it is personal.
Right. It is personal. And I do want to add to like tools that I used 2 years ago, 5 years ago aren't tools that work for me today. I used to do breathing
Right.
exercises, and at that time it worked. Now that's not something that works for me. I used to think, okay,
Me
I'll go
too.
on a
Used to
walk and
do the
cool
breathing
down.
exercises.
I used to go on
They
a
do not
walk
work
and
for me
like, yeah,
anymore.
it doesn't work for me anymore. So if anything, I would love to encourage people like, keep seeing what works for you. Like things are going to change. Just like
Mm-hmm.
your life is going to change, where you're at in life is going to change, your environment, your surroundings are going to change. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
important for me to make sure that not only is it working, but am I enjoying what I'm doing? Like yoga is something that I've
Mm-hmm.
done for a very long time, and I've been in and out of it, and I'll get consistent. I'll in and out of it, but it's something like I'm like I'll never not do yoga. Like I love yoga.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are you back into it now?
yeah, I'm really consistent now. I'm doing it maybe 3 or 4 days a week, and it's really good for even like natural things like back relief pain, or even just kind of like sitting with it. There is a yogi that I watch on YouTube, and she specializes in like, you know, you get into a position and you kind of like almost just fall asleep there. And that is so uncomfortable for me because I'm used
Mm.
to like moving. I'm used to, okay, we're staying here. We're here for a little bit. Next position, next role. And she's very much so like, lay down, breathe. And
Like,
like
be in the moment.
right. And I'm opening my eyes like, is she still laying down and breathing? And it's like, okay, she's still laying
Mhm.
down and breathing. And so, it's also interesting that you can find a specialty, something that you really, really like, and it's still different. There's still people that do it in different
Mhm.
ways. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm. Do you have any like
Well,
mantras or any sayings or anything that you find yourself saying to yourself randomly or intentionally
um,
that you care to share?
I don't have anything intentional right
Mhm.
now. I'm actually trying to quiet the voices right now
Okay,
so
how are you?
that I can make space to listen to what's actually for me, if that makes sense.
Well, I was gonna ask you like, what do you mean? Like, do you feel like you have a lot of things in your head and you don't know which one you should hold on to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like very cluttered in my mind right now and I need to organize it.
Okay.
So I don't have anything specific or intentional. I'm just like I need to do some tidying up.
How do you
Where's
tidy
the
up?
Febreze? I don't know how to tidy up.
How have you done it
No,
before?
I haven't.
Oh, this is all new. Okay.
This is all new. So, if you have any pointers for me, please share.
If I have any
You don't
pointers,
have to share them now, but like,
well, I just don't know because I tell you all the time, like I always like it, and this has been like since probably the age of like 12. I've always had like 100 different thoughts going around in my head at once. So I don't know about tidying up. I can categorize if you want to compartmentalize all of them, but decreasing them, I don't know.
yeah,
But that should be a
that's
fun
what I'm working on.
and interesting journey, though. I'd love to hear more once you like
Well,
start the process.
I will keep you updated.
Appreciate you.
Is there anything else that you want to round out, talk about before, we just get on with the rest of the week? Really, just like take care of ourselves, take care of our people, etc., etc., etc.
I feel like there's something left unsaid, but I can't tell you what that is. So I guess the answer is no.
Are you ready to go, friend?
In what sense of the question do you mean?
I meant in the, do we want to end it here?
We can. If you're ready, then I'm ready.
It doesn't matter to
Is there
me.
anything else you would like to say? Or
There's nothing else on my heart, on my spirit, on my mind to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad to see your face. I'm
Oh.
glad that that even in these hard times, that we can still share a smile and still be there for each other and still like show up,
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and also just check in to make sure that we're doing okay.
Oh my goodness, that is what I want to say. You all, CaMi has been such a check-inner, show-upper this week, and we've both been having very trying weeks, and I just want to publicly thank you because
Oh my
you
God,
have been
please.
just
This is
like
so embarrassing.
so supportive in so many different ways. Like there are so many different ways in which people can show support, and you've just like checked them all off. It's like you're going down a list. Like, have I done this for her? Have I done this? I think I should do this next. And I'm just like, stop it.
Well, like I told you offline, like I can't remember what words I used. I was like, not support you. That doesn't seem
Right.
like a viable option to me.
Right.
Like, please stop. You sound so silly right now. Goodbye. Well, okay. Well, like, let me just ask you, what does support look like to you? What do you need for someone to support you?
Support.
Because everybody's different.
Right. That's what I was about to say. Support looks different to me depending on who's doing the support. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If it's you
So, like
and
your best friends, like what do you expect? Like your
it still depends
ride or
on
die.
who they are because
Wow, so it's different.
one very close friend might support me by sending me stupid memes. Another close friend might send me a voice note like, "Bro, Court," like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I might have another friend who's like, so it still looks different across my friend spectrum. Since, like you said, everyone's different. So I mean, if I had a
Mm-hmm.
sugar daddy, he might send me money, financial support. So it just depends on who you are in my life, right? The support looks different depending on who you are. Know your role and play it well.
I cannot with you. Goodbye.
Bye. I do want to say, I do feel like I said this was like my attitude was funky this episode because of just world things and this week. So I am looking forward to next week where it's not so world heavy and funky ish.
I feel like, yeah, I think some of us might need a melatonin bath. Some of us might need some R&R. Some of us may need to like take a walk with certain four-legged friends that are obsessed with me.
It was
Um,
so good talking to you all. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Google. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, on Anchor, on Instagram, Two Peaches with a Pod. We post the weekly episodes there, and the link is also in our bio.
Thanks for rocking with us, y'all.
Thanks.
We'll see you next week. Bye, friends.
Bye, friends.